If you think you're here just by coincidence, you're missing what's really unfolding in your life right now. Because this frequency doesn't just appear at any random moment, it arrives precisely when your destiny is ready to shift. And I'm not saying that as a metaphor. What you're about to hear will activate a part of your energy field that's been asleep for years, maybe even your entire life. So listen closely. Here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Visualization alone doesn't change your life. Vibration does. You can spend hours picturing the future you want, but if your frequency doesn't shift, your reality will keep responding to who you actually are on the inside, not the image you're projecting on the outside. And here's what's wild, right? At this very moment, your energetic field is already starting to reorganize itself. You might notice a sudden warmth spreading through your chest, a strange lightness in your body, or even an unexpected shiver. That's not your imagination, it's real. It's the first sign that your vibration has started to move. And once it does, there's no turning back. If you leave this video now, you'll miss the most powerful part, the revelation of a code Thoth hid for millennia. A code that only reveals itself when you start vibrating at the right frequency. But if you stay with me until the end, I promise you'll leave with a new understanding of yourself. Because when this frequency stabilizes, the entire universe begins to recognize you. What's inside you is older than time. And when your vibration realigns with your origin, the universe bows before your silence. You've come this far because something deep inside you started vibrating differently. Maybe it wasn't even a thought or a feeling. It was more like a silent call, a knowing that bypassed logic and went straight into your field. And once that happens, there's no going back. You've stepped into a frequency that doesn't respond to words or explanations. And that's exactly why you're ready to hear what's never been written. This is the moment when the figure of Thoth emerges not as a mythical being, but as a symbol of timeless wisdom, a wisdom that resisted distortion and manipulation across ages. Thoth wasn't just a divine scribe. He was consciousness encoded in vibration, a messenger of knowledge too powerful to be handed to the masses because it couldn't be read, it could only be felt. That's why so many who pick up Hermetic texts end up more confused than enlightened. These teachings weren't designed for the mind to analyze. They were made to trigger a vibration in you, to reorganize something inside you that's been disconnected. Every symbol, every word, every pause carries a precise frequency, a hidden code behind the form. Thoth didn't leave his wisdom behind in words alone, because he knew the world would twist and distort anything it could. He spoke through presence, silence, and energetic coherence, the perfect harmony between what you are and what you emanate. This is how true initiates receive the teachings, not by understanding them intellectually, but because something inside them woke up in response to the vibration. This is the difference between information and revelation. Information travels through the mind. Revelation moves through your field, and you're starting to notice it now. You're starting to feel that something is being transmitted to you, even if it can't be put into words. A truth without form that moves straight into your core. This knowledge was never hidden out of cruelty or greed. It was veiled to protect its essence, because only those vibrating at the right frequency can access it. There's no way to fake it or force it, and that's the purest spiritual filter. There is only those who are already awakening can awaken more. Only those who have learned to silence themselves enough can hear what has no sound. What Thoth taught at the deepest levels wasn't a technique or ritual. It was a memory, a return to the original vibration of simply being, a dissolving of mental noise so truth could rise on its own. He said real knowledge can't be given. It can only be activated, and that's exactly what's happening to you right now. You might not understand every word rationally, but something inside you is opening, as if an ancient scroll that's been sealed for millennia is starting to unroll right in front of your soul. As it does, you start to vibrate differently. Your frequency begins to shift. You enter a field where the universe no longer responds to words or affirmations. It starts responding to your vibration, and that vibration is becoming coherent, starting to resonate with the truth Thoth kept silent, a truth that can't be written, only embodied. But for this frequency to unlock the new life that's already trying to emerge around you, you need to get past an obstacle. Most people never even realize exists an invisible, subtle block that's not outside you. It's inside. And it's already starting to dissolve now. Because the hardest truth is this: the reason your reality keeps repeating the same patterns even when you visualize something better is because the vibration behind your desires still carries the signature of what you're trying to avoid. You might say you want to change, but you're vibrating like someone who's still stuck. You might dream of something new, but you're still anchored in the emotions of the old. It's pointless to visualize prosperity if your heart is still full of fear. The field doesn't hear words, it hears frequency. The universe, as Thoth taught, doesn't respond to what you think you want. It responds to what you're in vibrational coherence with. And that doesn't depend on your intentions. It depends on your state. Yes, the all is mind, but not mind as in fleeting thoughts. Mind in the Hermetic sense means conscious vibration, because thoughts can lie, but vibration can't. Vibration reveals exactly where you are. That's why so many people become frustrated with spiritual practices. They spend hours visualizing, making affirmations, trying to force themselves to believe they already have what they desire. But inside, they still feel lack, fear, and doubt. They keep reacting to the world like they're still lost. And the field picks that up immediately. It doesn't matter how polished your affirmations are if the vibration you're holding behind the scenes is incoherent. The universe isn't swayed by performance. It responds to what's real at your core, the vibrational truth of who you are when you're not trying to control the outcome. This is where everything starts to click into place. Because your mind can ask for change, but your body is what actually vibrates. And your body carries your real frequency, the records of your life, your deepest emotions, and the beliefs you've repeated until they became ingrained patterns. Until your body is re-educated vibrationally, it will keep emitting the signal of the old version of you, the one who wants change but doesn't yet feel safe in the new. You can repeat 1,000 times that you're free, prosperous, or loved. But if your body still tenses up, your breath gets shallow, or your shoulders tighten when you think about money, love, or change, that's the signal the field reads. And that's why nothing really shifts. Or if it does shift for a moment, it snaps right back to the old pattern. Because the dominant vibration hasn't changed. That's the hidden prison, not a literal cell, but a scattered contradictory signal that says to the universe, I want the new, but I'm still stuck in the old. As long as this conflict inside you exists, your reality will keep circling the same old loops. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because it's responding honestly to your frequency it always has. But there's a precise moment when everything can start to change. And it's so much subtler than most people realize. It doesn't come with fireworks or some big sign. It happens quietly in a micro moment, a fleeting detail you'd normally overlook. It's that instant when you tell yourself, it's okay. I trust, but your chest stays tight, your breathing stays shallow, your stomach still feels like a knot. That's where the real sabotage hides because the field doesn't respond to the phrase you say. It responds to the tension in your body. This is where most people trip up without even knowing it. They try to align their mind but forget the body. And your body holds the memory of everything you haven't resolved yet. It keeps vibrating not yet, even while your mind is repeating already. You might speak about abundance, but if you clench inside when you check your bank account, the frequency you're sending is lack. You might affirm you're ready for love, but if you tense up when someone gets emotionally close, your vibration says rejection. What you feel in the invisible is far more powerful than what you say out loud. And it's not because you're lying to yourself. It's because you're still carrying old layers. Layers of fear, layers of doubt, layers of self-protection, layers that weren't consciously chosen but settled in over years of trying to survive. Your body learned to protect you by vibrating distance, but now you want to attract. That's the clash. Your body says, I'm not ready, while your mind says, I want it now. The field receives both messages, and since there's no coherence, it either doesn't respond at all, or it responds to the dominant vibration, which is almost always the one carried by your body. That's why everything can feel so stuck. You think you're doing everything right, but you're still sending a split frequency. And the universe reflects what it understands, the same cycles, the same old patterns, the same sense of frustration and powerlessness. All of this happens so subtly that most never see the exact point of failure. But now you're seeing it, and simply seeing it already starts to dissolve the pattern. So what does it actually mean to vibrate like everything is already yours? It means that it's not the force of your will that changes your life. It's the strength of your stable vibration. Because when your mind is still swinging between hope and doubt, the universe remains undecided too. But when you stabilize an internal state, even without external proof, Even without guarantees, the field has no choice but to adjust everything around you to match who you've become. The day your frequency becomes your destiny doesn't announce itself with a big celebration. It's quiet, almost unnoticeable. But you feel it. You feel it when you wake up one morning and the old heaviness is gone. You feel it when you realize you're no longer desperate for signs. You feel it when you face a challenge and don't react the way you always used to. You feel it when in the middle of chaos, something inside you stays steady and unshaken. That's what the universe responds to energetic stability. That coherence between what you think, what you feel, and what you do. When those three line up in the same direction, the field recognizes a clear vibrational pattern, and a clear pattern creates a clear reality. It's not about being perfect or cheerful 24/7. It's about vibrating consistently with what you want to live, even in silence, even when no one sees you, even when everything outside looks exactly the same. But here's the subtle trap. Many people touch this aligned state, hold it for a few minutes or maybe a few hours, but then the old self creeps back in. It sneaks in with a small thought, an insecurity, an emotional trigger, and without realizing it, their body falls back into the old vibration. The field feels this wobble, and what was starting to build unravels. That's why so many transformations feel like they almost happened, but never fully land. Because the signal wasn't sustained long enough. The field only builds around what's stabilized. So the real game changer isn't about doing something big. It's about holding a clear, coherent vibration long enough for the field to recognize it as your new baseline. This requires presence, attention, a kind of energetic discipline that doesn't come from forcing yourself, but from a decision deep inside the choice to no longer collapse back into the old pattern. And when you do that, when you hold your vibration even without immediate evidence, something subtle but extraordinary begins to happen. Time stops feeling like your enemy. Waiting becomes lighter. Confirmations start to appear without you looking. Coincidences multiply. People treat you differently. Doors that once felt permanently closed begin to unlock, not because you begged, but because your presence changed. And when your presence changes, everything changes. This is the point where your frequency truly becomes your destiny, where you stop just wanting a different life and start living it, where what used to be a distant dream stops being something you chase and becomes the baseline of who you already are. But all of this is only possible when a very specific frequency starts to pulse inside you. A vibration that's as quiet as it is unwavering, as subtle as it is powerful. That's what we're about to talk about, because when it awakens, there's no going back. But it only activates when you enter a frequency so aligned with the truth of who you are that the reality around you must respond. This vibration has a rare name preserved in the oldest schools of esoteric wisdom, SAK. Thoth never described it as an emotion or a mindset. He said SAK is a vibration that only begins when you stop seeking, stop projecting, stop waiting, and start simply being. It's the moment when the distance between desire and presence disappears, where I want transforms into I am, and not in your words, but in your frequency. This vibration changes lives because it emits a signal so clean, so coherent, so quietly firm, that it moves through the quantum field like an unmistakable signature. The universe knows this pattern because it carries no doubt, no anxiety, no subtle vibe of lack, only the completeness of something already fulfilled. Here's the part almost no one talks about. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you think you deserve. It responds to what you're already vibrating as your current reality. And this powerful vibration can only stabilize when your mind, body, and energy field are all aligned in the same frequency. When they sync, it creates what ancient teachings called the fixed point in eternal motion, a vibrational anchor that stops you from swinging back and forth between past fears and future worries, rooting you fully in the absolute now. SAK pulses exactly like that, as a vibration that rests, that doesn't push, or pull, that doesn't need to prove itself. It's stable, and in that stability, it becomes magnetic. It doesn't chase, it attracts. It doesn't force, it allows. And you can feel when someone is embodying this frequency. Their presence alone calms the environment, even if they say nothing. Someone vibrating in SAK can walk into a room, and without a word, the energy shifts because this vibration works beyond language. It's an energetic transmission that reshapes the surrounding field effortlessly. That's why it's so powerful. It's clean. It's not mixed with fear, insecurity, or the urge to control. It's the vibration of conscious surrender, and this surrender isn't giving up. It's the highest form of vibrational action. It's the action of becoming so aligned with what you want that there's no more separation between you and your desired reality. This vibration changes lives because it doesn't start by changing what you see. It starts by changing how you feel. Then it changes how you act. And without you even realizing it, you start making choices aligned with the timeline of the life you've always wanted. Little choices: a no you were too afraid to say before, a yes that feels light and freeing even if you don't have a logical reason, a pause before reacting, a deeper breath before deciding. These subtle shifts are the first signs that SAK has started operating in you. And as this state becomes more consistent, it creates vibrational coherence, the key the universe recognizes as readiness. Because when your field is coherent, the universe knows you've stopped vibrating like someone who's trying and started vibrating like someone who already is. And when that happens, the signs begin to appear not as forced results, but as natural responses to your new vibration. They come as messages you didn't expect, as meetings that seem coincidental, but feel perfectly timed, as doors opening without you knocking. But the most important signs are internal and unshakable peace, even if nothing outside has changed yet. Waking up and feeling that something's different before your day even begins. Looking at old problems and realizing they no longer carry the same emotional weight, not because they vanish, but because you're no longer vibrating at the frequency of fear. You're operating from the frequency of certainty. Certainty is the master code of SAK. It's not arrogance or stubbornness. It's quiet, unspoken knowing. It knows the universe has already heard you. It knows your path is already aligning. It knows your destiny is already written in the invisible, and all you need to do is hold the pulse. That's how reality bends, not before the will that screams, but before the vibration that stays. And now that this state has begun awakening in you, get ready. The field will stop treating you like a student sampling ideas and start treating you like someone who knows. That's when you'll start to see the most unexpected signs so precise they leave no doubt that you're finally vibrating in the field of your new life. And this is just the beginning. Because when these signs start appearing, something curious happens. You start seeing certain numbers everywhere on clocks, receipts, license plates like 7 net and a 7 repeating over and over, even though you never went looking for it. And every time, no matter how much your mind says it's just coincidence, your body feels something else. A subtle wave of confirmation, as if the universe is whispering, "Yes, I heard you," and it did. Thoth taught that certain numbers aren't just symbolic codes, but vibrational pulses that the field sends back to you as a direct response to your frequency. And 777 is one of the clearest. It doesn't predict the future. It mirrors what's already happening in your energy. Seeing this number isn't a sign of what's coming, it's a reflection of what's stabilized now. It's proof that the SAK frequency is locking into place in your field, that you're no longer reaching or grasping, but vibrating from a place of already being there. 777 marks a silent shift from wanting to being. And what's amazing is that it only shows up when you stop desperately looking for signs. Because when you're searching with anxiety, the field interprets it as doubt. But when you let go and rest in certainty, the field echoes your vibration back with signs like 777, not as magic, but as confirmation. In ancient Hermetic tradition, 777 symbolized the perfect harmony of the triad mind-body and field and resonance. Not as some unreachable ideal, but as a living real state. It's the vibration of someone who has stopped sending mixed signals, who no longer lives in contradiction between what they say, what they feel, and what they do. When those three align, the field responds with unmistakable clarity, 777. And when it does, your world begins to feel different, not because everything outside instantly changes, but because you've changed inside. Now the universe simply follows your lead. You'll notice the small things start to flow. Conversations become more meaningful. Moments of synchronicity appear more often. Unexpected opportunities show up when you least expect them. You'll feel guided by something invisible, and you are. But here's where the real test begins. Even with these signs, your external world may still look the same for a while. Bills might still need paying. Relationships may still challenge you. People around you might not see your shift right away. And that's when doubt tries to creep back in. This is the vibrational test, not a punishment, but a check-in. Are you truly steady in your new frequency? Or were you just excited for a moment? The old self will do everything it can to pull you back. It will whisper doubts, stir old fears, replay old stories. It will provoke you with familiar patterns to see if you'll react the same way. This isn't failure, it's proof you're on the edge of transformation. Because the old always screams the loudest just before it dies. It knows it's losing ground. But your secret isn't fighting fear, it's refusing to obey it. It's no longer responding to the same stories the same way. It's understanding that the universe doesn't expect perfection, it expects stability. You don't have to erase doubt, you just can't follow it. Because the universe is always watching which signal you hold when everything outside still looks the same. That's a decisive moment. That's when you become the anchor of your new reality. And when you hold steady just one more moment, just one more breath, you step into the reality that's been waiting for you all along. Not with a big dramatic shift, but with a quiet sense of coming home. As if you'd always belonged in this new timeline and had simply forgotten until now. If hearing this stirred something deep inside you, a clarity, a peace that didn't come from logic but from your body, don't doubt it. You're not just imagining a new life, you're already vibrating in it, and now it's vibrating back. So if you've made it this far, write in the comments. My frequency has already started to change to anchor this shift and strengthen the field for everyone on this journey. And if you'd like to help keep this channel going so we can reach more people, there's a link in the pinned comment where you can contribute. But don't leave yet, a special video is waiting for you. It's the next step to apply this in your life. Click on the screen now, and I'll meet you there.